This is Soundcheck Videos.
Hi, today on Soundcheck Videos we're checking out the Emery Sound Microbaby. The Microbaby is made by Kurt Emery out of California. He makes these one at a time by hand, and they have 1 or 2 watts depending on the tube configuration that you use. It's a Class A 100% tube powered, tube rectified amp head. For knobs and switches, it's pretty simple. It has a volume and a tone knob. The tone knob has a bypass if you turn it all the way to left, which is something I really like. And then it has this little power switch, so you can get some clean, they call it loose, and then boost. The back has 2 switches, one for power on and one for standby, which is really good for your tubes. And then the speaker out, you can use a 4 ohm, 8 ohm, or a 16 ohm. One of the really cool things about this amp is that you can change tubes for different wattage, different power, and completely different sounds. So we'll try to change a couple tubes today, but mainly I just want to give you an overview of how this thing sounds. So let's see how it sounds. So since this is a 1 or 2 watt amp, there's not a lot of clean volume, but it's enough to play. So like I said, it's not very loud when it's clean, but it's plenty loud to kind of have fun with. But that's really not what this amp is designed for. The amp is definitely designed to get the most out of your distorted sound without being too loud. And this thing rules at that. So we're going to go to what they call the loose setting to get a little bit more of a distorted sound. The thing that sets this amp apart from all other amps is that it gets fantastic distorted tone at low volumes. And it's not just good distorted sound, it's fantastic sound. So first we'll go to the loose switch, the loose setting on this little switch. About 1/3 on the volume there, and about 2 or 3 here on my, what's that called? The bridge pickup. Adjust the distortion and the volume that you get just by how you pick. Alright, so let's go to the boost switch. So like I said before, there's 3 settings. They call it clean, loose, and boost. We'll turn the volume up a little bit, probably about a little less than 1/4. Max out the guitar. So like I said, it's very quiet, but it's good distortion. But if you want a little volume, turn it up. up even more. All I'm going to do is switch it to both pickups. They're both on max, but it sounds completely different. Now for some low volume distortion. Let's hit it with a pedal. I'm going to use the BYOC Classic Overdrive pedal. And this is where things get really interesting. You hear that distorted sound? You can still hear me talking almost. Alright, so here's really cool distorted sound, but it is so quiet, it's probably the guitar, just the strings without being amplified are probably louder than what's coming out of the amp. So you can hear me talk. That's conversation volume. It even gets quieter than that. So that's really quiet, obviously. Can't even hear it when I talk. But if you're just jamming and you got somebody sleeping in the other room, or just don't want to bother people, or just kind of a cool sound. So listen to this sound. I've got the tone all the way to the lowest, and the tone on here is bypassed. I'm not going through the pedal, this is just through the amp. Is that cool or what? Almost sounds like a wah pedal. Okay, so I put the tone on low on this. This is, the click is the bypass, so it's completely bypassing, which is similar to middle. But so you take the tone all the way to the left, just before the click, and that's the lowest tone. Volume really low here, so we can turn it up. Man, I hope that camera's picking up this tone because I'm digging it right now. These are all the differences that you get just by changing the tone and the pickups and the tone and the volume on here and the switches. But mainly I've been using the boost because that's the sound that I like the most. I like distorted sounds. So, but those are all the different sounds that you can get from this little amp, this little 1 or 2 watt amp. But that's not all it does. It also, you can change the tubes. So let's do that right now. Turn this puppy off. This whole time I've been playing with the same tube configuration. It's a 12AX7 at EL33 and a 6AX7 GT. We're going to switch something out. We're going to switch the EL33 out with a 6V6, which this one is one of my favorites actually. The EL33 seems to be a little lower and a little looser. The 6V6 seems to be a little chimier, I guess. That's how some people would explain it. So I just want to play a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to change them and then we'll come back. Remember that sound. Okay, I've changed nothing on the guitar. It's set up the same way. The amp is set up the same way. The only thing I changed was the tube. So let's see if we can hear any difference. So it's really hard to tell the difference, I think, on the camera, but there is a difference, and every time you put a different tube in it or a different tube configuration, it's going to sound different. So I just wanted to put one in there and just see what happened, but I'm not going to go through each one of these tubes. I mean, you'll go crazy. There's, I've got 10 tubes here, and so that probably means there's about 80 different combinations that I can make. So, but it's a really cool thing. It's part of the fun with this amp. So I hope you got some good info out of this, and if you want a great low watt amp that has fantastic distorted tones, you will not beat an Emery Sound Microbaby. So that's it from Soundcheck Videos, and you have a wonderful day. Uh-oh, no sound at all. I guess I got turned on. You have a wonderful